Welcome back, everyone. Get ready for another deep dive. This time, we're all about those little-known car secrets, the hidden features and clever engineering tricks that can totally change how you think about your ride.
It's amazing how many of us drive around in these incredible machines every day, but don't really know what they can do. It's like we're missing out on a whole secret world under the hood.
Right. It's like our cars have secret identities, so where do we start?
Well, let's start with the basics, the dashboard. I bet most people don't even know half of what those symbols and lights mean.
Okay, true. Like that gas tank arrow. Is it true that it actually points to which side your gas tank is on? Because I feel like I've wasted years playing gas station roulette.
Absolutely, it's a real thing. It's crazy how such a simple feature isn't on every car, right? Some car makers are all about it, while others just seem to like watching us struggle at the pump.
You know, part of me thinks it's a conspiracy between the car companies and the gas stations making us pull up to the wrong side so we accidentally overfill our tanks. Okay, maybe that's a little too conspiracy theory-ish. But seriously, why isn't this standard everywhere?
Yeah, who knows? There's no official reason. My guess is it's probably a mix of trying to save money and just not wanting to change things that have been done a certain way for ages.
Yeah.
You'd think adding a tiny arrow wouldn't cost much, but multiply that by millions of cars and it adds up.
I see your point.
Yeah.
Still, it's those little things that can make a big difference. Like, what about that snowflake light? I feel like that one comes on whenever it feels like it.
Oh, it actually has a purpose.
Yeah.
That little snowflake is your car saying, hey, watch out, it's going to get slick out there. It's a temperature warning. When it gets near freezing, that light pops on.
So it's not just about snow, it means ice, too.
Exactly. Think of it like a little heads up to adjust your driving, slow down, leave more space between you and the car in front, that sort of thing. Be extra cautious because the roads could be icy.
Good to know. Now, let's talk about the dashboard light that causes panic attacks. The check engine light. Seriously, mine comes on if I even think about driving over a bump.
Yeah, the dreaded check engine light. It's definitely anxiety-inducing. But honestly, it's not always a sign that your car is about to explode. Sometimes the problem is something as simple as a loose gas cap.
No way! Really, a loose gas cap can trigger the check engine light.
Oh yeah, it messes with your car's emission system, and that can trigger the light. So before you freak out and call a tow truck, just check your gas cap. You'd be surprised how often that's the culprit.
That's a great tip. Speaking of simple fixes, I've heard about this morning gas hack where you supposedly get more gas for your money if you fill up early in the day. Is there any truth to that?
It's not just a myth. It's all about science, specifically thermal expansion. Gasoline, like any liquid, expands when it's warm. So filling up in the morning when it's colder and the gasoline is denser technically means you're getting a little more fuel for the same price.
But isn't the temperature difference pretty small? Is it really worth getting up at the crack of dawn just to save a few cents?
True, the difference is small. But think about it. Every little bit adds up, right?
Hmm.
Over time, all those tiny extra drops can actually make a difference, especially if you drive a lot or have a car with a big gas tank.
All right, I'm convinced. I'll try to remember to stop at the gas station on my way to work.
And while we're talking about saving gas and all that, let's not forget about tire pressure.
You mean the tire pressure monitoring system? I thought that was just a safety thing.
Well, yeah, the TPMS is definitely there to warn you about dangerously low tire pressure, which is super important for safety. But it's also connected to how much gas you use. Underinflated tires create more drag, meaning your engine has to work harder to keep you moving,
Yeah.
and that burns more fuel.
So keeping my tires properly inflated can actually save me money. I just thought it was about, handling and making sure I don't get a flat tire.
It's all connected. Properly inflated tires, better safety, better handling, and better fuel efficiency. It's a triple win.
All right, I'm adding check tire pressure to my to-do list before any road trips. And speaking of road trips, let's talk about some of the cool tech that makes driving more fun. Some of the stuff feels straight out of a sci-fi movie.
Oh, for sure. And you might be surprised by how many of these high-tech features are already available in regular cars.
Okay, first up, side mirror defrosters. Wait a minute, my side mirrors have defrosters. Seriously, I learn something new about my car every time we do this.
A lot of cars do, but it's one of those things people don't even realize is there. So instead of just adjusting your mirror, try turning that switch all the way down. That usually turns on the defroster.
Yeah.
It's got heating elements in there that melt the frost, fog, or whatever's blocking your view.
No more wiping my mirrors with my sleeve on freezing mornings. Amazing. I'm definitely testing that out tomorrow. Okay, what else have I been missing out on?
Let's talk about adaptive cruise control. This is not your grandma's cruise control, my friend.
Oh, I've heard of this. It's like having a co-pilot that keeps you at a safe distance from other cars, right? But how does it work? Is it magic?
Well, not magic, but close. It uses radar or sensors to see the traffic ahead and adjusts your speed automatically to keep a safe distance. So, if the car in front slows down, it slows down too, even to a complete stop. And when traffic picks up again, it speeds back up to your set speed.
So it can handle stop and go traffic. Perfect for those rush hour nightmares.
Exactly. Makes driving in traffic less stressful and might even help prevent those little fender benders.
Okay, what about this heads-up display I keep hearing about? Is it really like having your dashboard projected onto your windshield?
That's the idea. The HUD projects things like your speed, navigation directions, even warning lights, right onto the windshield so you can see them without taking your eyes off the road.
That sounds amazing, but wouldn't it be distracting to have all that info floating in your face?
Not really. It's designed to be pretty subtle and out of the way. Doesn't block your view or anything. More like a transparent layer with just the important info. It actually helps you stay focused on the road.
That makes sense. Okay, HUD is officially on my wish list for my next car. What else is there?
Speaking of staying safe, let's move on to safety features. We all know about seatbelts and airbags, but there's actually way more going on than you might think.
Okay, I'm all ears. What secret safety tech are we talking about?
Well, take seatbelts, for instance. They're more than just a simple strap. They're loaded with technology now. Like pretensioners that automatically tighten the belt during a crash to keep you in place, and force limiters that control how much pressure the belt puts on your chest to prevent injuries.
Wow, I never knew there was so much engineering in something as basic as a seatbelt.
Right. And then you've got blind spot monitoring, which uses REAR or sensors to detect cars hiding in those blind spots and warns you either with a light or a sound.
I've seen those warning lights flash on my friend's car, but I never knew how it worked. It's like having an extra set of eyes on the road.
Exactly. And speaking of extra eyes, there are backseat reminders. These can be real lifesavers, especially for parents. They remember if a rear door was opened and remind you to check the back seat when you park. Simple, but super effective in preventing those awful accidents.
Wow, the peace of mind that must give parents is incredible. It's amazing how much thought goes into these safety features.
Yeah, and that's just scratching the surface. Car designers are always innovating and coming up with new ways to keep us safe.
I feel like I know so much more about my car already, but I have a feeling there's still a ton more to learn. Are you ready to dive into some truly crazy car secrets?
Absolutely. Let's buckle up and explore some of the hidden compartments and cool tricks that will totally change your perception of your car.
Sounds good to me. Let's go. Okay, wait, you're telling me there are actual secret compartments in my car? I'm imagining like James Bond gadgets and hidden escape routes.
Uh-huh. Well, maybe not quite that exciting. But cars do have all sorts of clever hiding spots for storage that most people never even find. Some are more obvious, like under-seat storage in those big SUVs or minivans. But did you know that some cars, like the Dodge Journey, have secret compartments under the floor, right under the passenger seat? Perfect for stashing valuables or just keeping things out of sight.
Under the floor. Seriously, like a trapdoor or something.
Not a trapdoor, but kind of close. It's a compartment built right into the floor, usually hidden by a panel you can take out. You'd be surprised how much stuff you can fit in there.
That's so cool. It's like having a secret safe in your car. Okay, what other hidden gems are out there?
Well, the Land Rover Discovery has one behind the climate control panel, where the AC controls are. Great for stashing small things like sunglasses or your phone.
Okay, that is slick. I'm totally checking my car's manual later to see if I've got any hidden treasure chests waiting to be discovered. We've been talking about all this fancy technology, but I'm curious about those little convex mirrors you sometimes see attached to the rearview mirror. Are those just for looks, or do they actually do something?
Oh, those are super useful, especially if you have kids. They're called conversation mirrors, and they give you a wider view of the back seat so you can keep an eye on things without turning around and taking your eyes off the road.
I always thought they were just a gimmick, but that makes total sense. It's like having eyes in the back of your head.
Exactly. And some car companies are even taking it a step further with built-in cameras. Like the Honda Odyssey has this feature called Cabin Watch, and it uses a camera to show you a live feed of the back seats right on the dashboard screen.
Wait, what? So you can see what's going on back there even at night? That's insane. It's like a built-in nanny cam.
Yep. It's all about safety and making things easier for families on the road. And speaking of safety, we can't wrap up this deep dive without mentioning one of the biggest safety breakthroughs in recent years: electronic stability control, or ESC.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing that's been mandatory in all U.S. cars since 2012, right? Sounds super important, but I gotta admit, I'm not really sure what it does.
It's one of those things that works in the background, so you might not even realize it's there. But trust me, it's a total game changer when it comes to safety. ESC is constantly watching how your wheels are moving and compares that to where you're steering. If it senses you're losing control, like in a skid, it automatically applies the brakes to individual wheels to help stabilize the car and prevent a spinout.
So it's like having a super attentive co-pilot who can react instantly to prevent an accident.
That's a great way to put it. It acts way faster than any human could, making tiny adjustments to keep you on track. Super helpful in slippery conditions like rain or snow, where you're more likely to skid.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's crazy how much tech is packed into our cars to keep us safe. I'm feeling way more knowledgeable about my car now. It's incredible how many systems are working behind the scenes.
And we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to learn and explore about these vehicles.
As we're talking about all these car secrets, I've been thinking about how much we rely on our cars. They're not just machines, they're part of our lives.
Definitely. Our cars take us places, connect us to people, and even hold memories and experiences.
And yet, we often just take them for granted, focused on getting to our destination and not the actual journey.
I think this deep dive has been a good reminder to slow down, appreciate how amazing our cars are, and maybe rediscover how fun it is to drive.
Totally agree. And this conversation has me super curious. Now I'm ready to crack open my car's manual and see what other hidden gems I can find.
That's the spirit. There's always more to learn, even about things we think we know well.
And as they say, knowledge is power. Or in this case, knowledge is a smoother, safer, and more enjoyable ride.
And who knows? You might even find a few secrets we haven't even uncovered yet.
All right, before we move on, let's quickly recap some of the biggest aha moments from our Car Secrets deep dive. What really stood out for you?
Well, for me, it's the reminder that even the simplest things can make a huge difference. Like that gas tank arrow, it's such a small thing, but it can save you so much hassle and confusion at the pump.
Absolutely. And don't forget those side mirror defrosters. No more freezing fingers trying to clear the mirrors.
Such a simple solution, but so effective.
And let's not forget about the TPMS. Keeping your tires properly inflated is a win-win-win for safety, fuel efficiency, and even tire longevity.
It's all connected.
And I'm still amazed by the idea of being able to start my car with a dead key fob. Technology is pretty wild these days.
It really is. And speaking of amazing technology, those backseat reminders are a true lifesaver, especially for busy parents.
Absolutely. It's incredible how car manufacturers are constantly innovating to make our lives easier and safer. We've covered a lot of ground today, from dashboard mysteries to hidden compartments to futuristic safety features. I feel like I've got a whole new understanding of my car.
It's like we've unlocked a secret code, revealing all the hidden potential of our vehicles.
And speaking of potential, I can't help but wonder, what's next for the world of cars? What kind of crazy innovations are on the horizon?
That's the million-dollar question, and it's got everyone in the automotive world buzzing with excitement. The future of cars is all about connectivity, automation, and sustainability.
Okay, so what does that mean for everyday drivers like me? Paint me a picture of the future.
Well, first of all, buckle up for even more advanced driver assistance systems. Think lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking, and even self-parking features that practically take over the driving for you.
So are we talking about cars that drive themselves? That sounds both incredible and a little scary.
It's definitely a game changer, and it's happening faster than you might think. Self-driving cars are no longer science fiction, they're becoming a reality, and they're going to transform how we think about transportation.
I can see how that would revolutionize things like commuting, road trips, even how cities are designed. And what about connectivity? How does that fit into the car of the future?
Connectivity is all about integrating your car with your digital life. Imagine your car syncing with your smartphone, your home, even your work. You could start your car remotely, adjust the temperature before you get in, get real-time traffic updates, and have your car find you the best route.
So my car is going to be like a giant smartphone on wheels. That's wild.
And we're just getting started. Connectivity also opens up possibilities for in-car entertainment that's personalized just for you, and even remote diagnostics and maintenance, so your car can basically tell you what's wrong and how to fix it.
Okay, I see how the future of cars is going to be hyper-connected and super convenient. But what about sustainability? Where does that fit in?
Sustainability is probably the most critical part of the future of cars. With all the concerns about climate change and pollution, car makers are putting a lot of effort into finding alternative fuel sources, like electric vehicles and hydrogen fuel cells.
Yeah, electric cars are definitely becoming more common, but I still hear a lot of people questioning how far they can go on a charge and if there are enough places to charge them.
Those are fair points, but the technology is improving rapidly. Battery ranges are getting longer, charging times are getting shorter, and charging stations are popping up everywhere. Plus, governments around the world are offering incentives to get people to switch to electric vehicles.
So it sounds like electric cars are here to stay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're not just a fad, they're a total shift in the auto industry. And it's not just electric cars. Car manufacturers are also exploring other eco-friendly options, like biofuels, hydrogen fuel cells, and even solar-powered cars.
Wow, it sounds like the future of cars is going to be pretty amazing. But with all this talk about self-driving cars and futuristic tech, it makes me wonder if we'll even need to know how to drive in the future.
Now, that's a question that's up for debate. Some experts think self-driving cars will eventually make human drivers obsolete, while others believe that humans will always want to have the option to drive themselves.
It's crazy to think about. It feels like we're on the verge of a transportation revolution.
It definitely is, and it's an exciting time to be a part of it. Who knows what incredible innovations we'll see in the next few years?
I can't wait to find out. It's amazing to think about how much cars have changed and keep changing. It's like we're watching a revolution happen, but with cars instead of, people.
Yeah, and it's all happening so fast. Like, who even knows what cars will be able to do in a few years?
I know, right? But, with all this talk about self-driving cars and crazy future stuff, I still appreciate the little things, those little features that just make driving better and easier.
Oh, for sure. Sometimes those little details are what makes the biggest difference.
Like that gas tank arrow. Can you believe I drove around for years without knowing about that? It's so simple, but man, it's going to save me so much time and hassle at the gas station.
It is funny how something so small can be such a game changer. And once you know about it, it's like, how did I ever live without this?
And the side mirror defrosters. Seriously, life-changing. No more freezing my fingers off trying to wipe the frost off my mirrors.
It's one of those things you don't know you need until you have it. And then
Ah,
you're like, where has this been all my life?
exactly. And I'm definitely going to start paying more attention to my tire pressure, not just for safety, but to save gas too. It's a win-win.
Totally. It's amazing all the things we just sort of ignore about our cars. But when you think about it, they're pretty complex machines with all these different parts working together.
It's like our cars have been trying to tell us their secrets all along, and we're finally starting to understand.
That's a great way to put it. And that's what's so cool about exploring these car secrets. It's like unlocking a hidden world and really appreciating all the engineering that goes into these machines we use every day.
So, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this deep dive? What's the biggest car secret of all?
I think the most important thing is to just be curious about your car. Don't be afraid to poke around, experiment, and just like ask questions.
I like that. It's like we're all becoming car whisperers.
Exactly. Get to know your car.
Yeah.
Read the manual, try out different features. You never know what you'll find.
And don't be afraid to get a little hands on. Learning some basic car maintenance, like changing a tire or checking your oil, can save you money and give you a sense of ownership over your car.
Oh, absolutely. It's empowering.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today, everything from secret compartments to crazy future tech. I feel like I've got a PhD in car secrets now.
Uh-huh. Consider yourself officially graduated, but remember, there's always more to learn. It's like the world of cars is always evolving.
That's so true. Just like the open road, there's always a new adventure waiting around the corner.
And the more you know about your car, the more prepared and confident you'll be for those adventures.
Well said. So, to all our listeners out there, buckle up, hit the road, and remember your car is full of secrets just waiting to be discovered.
Drive safe, drive smart, and keep exploring. You never know what you might find.
And that's a wrap on another deep dive. Until next time, keep those curiosity gears turning.